So I'm here in Photoshop and I have, you can see right here, right across the top, I have all my photos open for this week that I want to use. And I have a little paper layout in front of me that tells me exactly what direction and size my photos need to be, and that will be in my blog post if you want to take a peek at that. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get a new canvas going. And I'm going to choose a photo size, and it's going to be a landscape 4 by 6. That's what I want. I'm going to say okay, and there it is. So I'm going to pull it apart from the rest of the pieces there, and then I'm going to resize it so it's a little bit smaller. So I can put it over to the side here. And now I'm going to start with my first photo, which is right here. And I edit all of my photos, and I use this app called RadLab to do it, which I'm just going to click there. And again, I'll have a link in my blog post so you can see that. And you can do all sorts of effects. Cool down the temperature if you feel like it's too warm, pop it out. You can preview really how everything's going to look. And it just makes it really easy to do photo editing so you don't even really have to think about it too much, but you can just audition how much things you like things, and then you can change the sliders to reflect that. But this is just my favorite way to edit photos, sort of quick and dirty, really, really easy. There you go. So I hope that you might think about giving that a try. So then I just click on finish. And then there's my edited photo. So then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to resize it. So I'm going to go ahead and choose the crop tool. And I want it to be this ratio. This happens to reduce perfectly to a 3 by 4 photo. So I'm going to go ahead and suck it in, crop it as small as I'm going to want it. I feel like I might as well stop it right at the bottom of the mirror. I don't need all that rest of that. I certainly don't need the toilet from the bathroom in there. So I'm going to go ahead and slide that over. Once I'm happy, I'm going to click OK. And then this is my actions panel. Now in Photoshop Elements, you don't have actions, but this is one of the reasons I like Photoshop, the full program, because you can see right here, Project Light height 4, Project Life width 4, Project Life width 3, so that this was just an action that is automatically going to resize this photo to the height that I want it to be. And I want it to be 4 inches tall. So it's going to do that. I'm going to grab it and drag it right here onto my surface and drag it into place there. I do like to put the date on everything, so I'm just going to grab the text tool right there. And this happens to be the 23rd. There you go. And of course I could change the font if I wanted to, but I kind of like that font. It sort of works for me. So I'm just going to drag this where it needs to go. And I am aware that in printing, it will sometimes cut off like the top of it or something. So I want to be a little bit careful about that and not put it too high. But there you go. So there's the 23rd. So that one's pretty easy. I could, of course, add more or less artwork, and we'll sort of decide. I do want to save this. I save all of my Project Life stuff into a folder called Project Life Photos, and then I just put the name of the, what is this? This is February 23rd through March 1. Okay, so we're going to save that. Excellent. Now it's saved. And now I'm ready to close this photo because I am completely done with it. And then the next photo in my list is this one. Now this is a screenshot, and I'm just going to drag it over. I know from experience that it's actually smaller than what I'm working with here. So I happen to know that it'll fit right in there. I'm going to add a drop shadow. Again, I'm using an action, but if you're in a regular Photoshop, you could just go up to layer styles and add your drop shadow. It also needs a background. So now is the time when I'm going to go ahead and open some of the artwork that I have saved into my computer. Let's see, I know I have something in here that says Project Life. There you go. So, and I have various just pretty things, pretty patterns, pretty backgrounds. Let's open up this one right here. Just has some nice painty stuff, and this is sized perfectly so that when I drag it on over to this other canvas, and then send it backwards. There you can go. You can see it looks now as if I painted this, which I didn't, and when I print it out it'll be super cool. But this also needs a date, because again I date everything. And you know, I like to take pictures of social media and stuff to just remind myself where I was, what was I making, what was I posting, what was I doing. But I think a date that's typed is not going to look great here, so I'm going to actually go ahead and open up. I have a document that is colored numbers. There it is. I knew it was around somewhere. And I'm just going to go ahead and grab, what date did I say this was? The 23rd. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that. Control copy, control paste. There it is. Add the drop shadow right on there, just like that. Bring it forward so it's ahead of that and it's overlapping slightly. Okay. You know, I don't like that these two dates, the 23 is here and the 23 is there. I feel like that's too much. So I think, let's see. First, I think it's better to have this be on this side still, but I want to drag this out a little bit so you can see how many people I was following, all that kind of fun information for later. And then let's move this 23. Yeah, I think down here, but let's change the color on it. So let's open the text tool again because you can't really see that black. So let's make it white. That pops out a little, and maybe even a bolder font of some kind, something that really, really, really shows up. Oh, one of my favorite fonts, which is a great font, is called Chunk 5. Let's see, where is it? There it is, Chunk 5. It's just a really nice, bold, great font. There it is. Okay. So this is all set. I'm ready to go. So what I like to do at this point, when I feel like it's set, is I'm ready to print it. So I make sure my printer is on, of course, because I print as I go with these. You don't have to, but I do like to do that. So I'll print it out and then I'll move on to the next one. Now before I move on to the next one, what I'll do is I'll select all just like that, and I'll group it. And if you look over here in the layers palette, when I group it, you can see it goes down to a single group, and that makes it easy for me to turn that off and then drag the next section in. So I'm just working basically pocket by pocket through my project life. So I'm going to go into fast forward, and you can watch me pull together the rest of these photos into a collage. And I hope it'll be useful to you to see a little bit of the process. So now you can see I have each of my little collages done, and some of them have space for me to write other things. Like you can see I have the label here or the floor space where I plan to put titles, and some of them, are more complete. I may add something to this, I may not. I go looking through my stash for stickers. I may put, like, I was thinking when I designed this to put a little, like, maybe I'll do a hand-drawn circle around the title of the restaurant. But each of these little collages is its own thing. The hello is going to hopefully run off the edge and get cut off. And I am adding to some of them and not to others. This one, clearly, there'll be some adding. You did notice, of course, I ended up turning my canvas partway through because my page protectors, some of them are vertical and some of them are horizontal. But, I like to fill the canvas with an entire photo. Maybe I should switch this canvas back so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. But yeah, I like to fill the canvas with a lot of photos and I like to put the date on everything. And, again, there's room, for instance, in the tall day area for if I wanted to do some journaling with a white pen, I could. Um, there's there's hand drawn details in here, even though it was computer generated. Like this whole subway map that I've drawn around myself, it's computer generated, but I'm using a pen tablet, which allowed me to give that sketchy feel. And again, I include a lot of my art and other stuff in here. Whatever there is, there's another blank label ready to go, etc., etc. So that's sort of the digital portion of my project life. Be sure to check out my blog to see the sketch and the final product and all that good stuff. I hope that you found this video useful and informative. Thanks so much, and do visit my blog at balzerdesigns.typepad.com.